Hi, welcome to the final round coverage of the Lake Marshall Open. Our title sponsor is Knowledge Management. This round will be played on the Lions, which is sponsored by Spotsy Disc Golf. I'm Matt Hammersten, joined by Zach Melton.
What's up, everybody?
And of course, our video sponsor for this front nine is going to be Blue Chip Technologies. We have a fun little card here, don't we?
Yeah, man, we have a stacked card. Looks like it'll be myself, Andrew Fish, Matt Hammersten, must be a pretty good player, and Sam Shiley. So I get to play with a couple Virginia pros and Fish, and we are all veterans to the Lake Marshall property.
Yes, and you have a sizable lead.
Yeah, you don't really expect to have a lead like that against a very, stacked field, but it definitely feels good. I felt like through 2 rounds I did what I wanted to do. So now we're going to go out here on a very hard Lions course and try to maintain, and I'm sure you guys are going to try to run me down.
Yeah, I think you had such a big lead that for me, I was looking at second. I don't think I was ever considering first as an option, knowing how well all of us really play the Lions specifically.
Yeah, so we're starting off on hole 1, big par 5 right out the gates, 970 feet. This is about placement, but also needing a little bit of distance. The distance to the top of the landing zone, you need about 440 feet to be in prime position. And then to clear the fairway bunker, which you saw was 380. There's OB on the right and the left. You see that taped off. I believe that's just hazard where you can't play from the side of it. It's not actually OB. It kind of pinches, and then you need a finishing left shot. It's a slightly downhill approach once you make the corner, and about 35 feet past the basket, there's kind of a drop off where you don't want to be. The rough is bad. Keep it in the fairway.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when they were putting in these last 3 holes, I thought this was a phenomenal starting hole for what the Lions has just become.
No, absolutely. I was very excited when I got to walk through and look at it, and I can actually say it looks better than what I expected. Like, it's a beautiful starting hole, par 5, can be eagled with 2 big shots. Myself here, I was throwing a Latitude 64 Rive, and I just wanted to kind of hit the fairway and have it finish right. And I got a little too much height on this. I liked the line and the flight, and I just barely got over one of those. It's kind of like a little ditch / bunker. It's not OB, but I'm going to have tricky footing.
I think that's the mistake to make, though, on this hole. Like, left is complete jail, and if your mistake is right, you're at the very least saving a 5.
Yeah, I think a pretty common theme on this course is when you miss, birdie kind of immediately goes out the window,
right?
And you are playing for par. So
now Fish had an eagle look in round 1.
Yeah, how far did he end up? About 45. I mean, that's awesome in 2 shots, but looked like he leaked a little left there. Got a decent kick out, I feel like, out of the rough. I see you snailing people before you get up to tee. Hopefully that doesn't give you any bad karma here,
Snailed somebody earlier.
Yes, you did. So what are you throwing off hole 1 here?
I'm throwing a Raider. I'm throwing one of my Raiders from last year. Really worn in. I can just kind of throw it relatively flat, let it drift over to the right.
Yeah, I'd say we're all wanting to bite off a good chunk on this first shot, because as we mentioned, even though it's a big par 5, I think it can be got to in 2 shots. That's looking pretty good.
And that's about where I wanted to put it.
Is that a little left, or is that right there? And kind of, what does that set you up for in the second shot?
I'm not playing this for a 3. I'm playing this for, get down to the landing spot, try to throw a simple hyzer with another Raider, and then just pitch up for my 4. So I think it sets me up in a good spot to do that, at least.
I thought you were going to say I'm not playing this for 3, I'm playing it for 5. But you're playing it for the easy 4. Good tee shot, and then pretty much play smart golf.
And that looks so smoked.
I remember Sam's throwing that shot, and out of his hand, his disc did not move. It was just in line with that tree, and that was smoked. But he didn't get a bad kick.
I think he's trying to bite a little more than maybe he should have from there.
Yeah, we've both played with Sam a lot, and I would say he's a pretty aggressive player. So that kind of shows you what can happen if you don't execute, because he is not in a good spot. And I'm choosing to lay up because of the lack of run up. I didn't want to end up left or right of the that kind of pinch point, because you don't get to play from it. I guess that was something we should have pointed out. You have to bring it out because of how steep and slick it is. And you put a pretty good move on this. Raider again?
Yep, I think it was that same Raider. Again, I don't quite have the distance to really push the eagle here. But that should be an easy up and down.
So Fish and I both had to play layups. And he pulled it a little wide, it seems. I kind of really like the finish of the hole because it's kind of like a stand-up finish. It's not really just a hard hook left. It just is a gradual finish. And I decided to, throw my first thrower of the round on hole 1.
It wasn't a bad one.
It wasn't a terrible one. Didn't get a lot of distance, but Sam's in a really tight spot.
He has such an incredible overhand game, though.
Well, that's because he's a really strong human and he just throws it really hard. But that shot right there was incredible. I'm pretty sure that was his X1.
Probably.
Yeah, and he just put it vertical and sent it, and yeah, good out. Will this be him for par save? I believe so. Kind of gives you a good look of the gap. Once you get it far enough to where you can see, there's kind of like a backdoor gap you can hit, and then the inside gap, and Sam is going to float through the inside.
Yeah, he's probably throwing one of his PA1s that just do not fly like PA1s anymore.
Yeah, and I left that up shot a little short, as you could tell by my face, but...
And there's nothing fancy going on here. There's just... Where am I trying to put it on the ground? And that's about it.
Yeah, just easy bird. Sam giving it a run for par, but that's a tough putt to run with the backdrop.
It's not as steep as you think, but at the same time, it's very steep.
Oh my. That's the first time I've seen it since it happened, and it looks just as silly now as I remember it.
I mean, it went in, so...
Yeah, it went in. I took my time getting it because I couldn't stop laughing. I think someone said good putt, and...
it went in.
It went in.
All putts that go in are
and it went in. I'm happy to start with a par, especially with you having a drop-in birdie. Had to steal your thunder a little bit.
And this is a theme, par on this course is very good. There are holes that you think you want to be pushing it, but par is very good on this course.
Yeah. Now we're on hole 2. It is a par 3.
Like hole 3. Yeah,
it's par 3, 500 feet downhill. You have a 60-foot elevation drop. It honestly plays probably in the high 300s, 370, 380. And another common theme on this property is in the rough is rough. Like, that's jail. You really have to stay on the fairway. This hole in particular, with how long it is, if you get off the fairway, I think you're pretty much screwed. So got to keep it in the fairway. Yeah,
and the mistake not to make is throw into the left side.
Yeah, left side
if you turn it over too much and you're off to the right, you can still find something, but if you're in the left, have fun.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel. after
I'm gonna
watching
have fun.
this. What was your thoughts in your mind when you let go of that? Because your face right now says, "I hate myself."
I mean, that's pretty much what I was thinking. I was thinking, don't throw there, which naturally means throw there.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure round 1, Cody based this, and I was thinking it would
I
be
did too.
really cool.
I did too.
You did.
I put it within 10 feet round 1, and I was thinking, let's do that again. And, that's always a mistake.
I was pretty much trying to copy Cody's line. I think the way to throw the hole is kind of at the left side and let it drift.
Yeah.
And fish, little unfortunate pull to the right, and then got the kickback left, which is no bueno. I'm pretty sure him and Sam were both throwing mids though. And yourself?
Yeah. Still on a compass.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy a 500-foot par 3 that you can birdie with a mid. That's a great shot.
Yeah,
from Sam.
it's just so far downhill.
If it wasn't for how bad the rough was, it would be a really fun hole.
I think it's a really fun hole as it is.
And a little backstory there on Fish. He was not upset with his shot because it was great progress, but he actually hit the first tree out of his hand, and it actually worked and flew forward to the green, and he just didn't think he deserved that. But you got to know Fish.
And they missed one of my shots.
Well, I think they just didn't want anybody to watch it.
Yeah, that's how bad it is over in the left. I threw a shot and it went straight into the left again.
Yeah, they couldn't even film it. It was so rough.
It was bad.
But that was a nice approach with the harp.
This is a really good shot from Sam. He's given himself a look.
And he cashes in.
Drills it.
Fantastic birdie. Ooh, I love it. We're getting the replay. Nice spinner. Beautiful putt. How far do you think it was? About 50?
45 to
45,
50.
50. And I was really worried that Sam was going to big putt me, so I was like, all right, make the putt, because I know you would tell me that he big putted me. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, it feels great to get a birdie on that hole. It requires great shots to get birdies at Lake Marshall, especially Lions. We clean up a little bogey.
No, it was a double.
Was that double?
That was
I'm
double.
sorry, we missed a shot.
We missed a shot.
Yeah. I think it just shows, you guys are very good golfers and missed one shot, and it's just tough. It's tough to save par. Hole 3 is a par 4 660, and this hole is all uphill on the first shot.
Yeah. The hole we were just throwing down, we're throwing back up it now.
All the way back up to the top.
And it probably takes, 480 to get to the top of this hill?
That's what it feels like, but it actually only measures 350, which is insane.
And I believe it.
Yeah, and then if you throw to the top of the hill, you're going to have this second shot weaving through some trees where you're really wanting to throw like a left to right moving shot, and you want it to finish on this green. A little bit of a slope to the left, but not too bad.
Throwing one of your sergeants?
That is a Sargent. It's a disc I'm loving right now. It's like that 10, 11 speed, straight disc. Has some good glide. Wanted to throw it flat up the middle. Leaked a little right, but it's not worst case scenario. So
again, just like hole 1 and 2, you just don't want to be left.
Yeah, left is tough, and Fish really gets a hold of this drive. I was very impressed by this getting all the way to the flat. Fantastic. You can't really do better than that. That shot probably plays like 460, 480, like you're saying. And you put a good move on this. Fairway hit.
That same pink Raider.
Kind of like Fish, but shorter.
Yep. 40 feet short.
Oh,
seems like a common thing.
Yep. It's all right, though. Fairway's good. Sam's in a really tight spot. It took him a while to throw this shot, if I remember correctly. And he gets off a good one. He can see the basket now. That red stake is what, 250?
I think it's 200.
200. Yeah, so he's in good position. I went for a little bit of a superhero shot and find the edge of the rough, but thankfully it's just on the edge. What are you throwing right here?
I'm throwing an evidence.
I liked the line. I don't know if we could see it hit, but I think we heard it. Looking good though.
Yeah, this hole always seems to, like, you need to get farther right than you really think you need to.
Yeah, I think it's because the shape of the trees makes you think you have to pull it over there, but it is kind of a straighter throw. And we missed Fish putting a thumber, which is pretty creative on that second shot. Put it in the circle, I believe. I was asking you if you were watching because I thought I was going to make it. No, not really. I was just making sure I was okay, stance-wise. Like I said, very fortunate I was on the edge because that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Was that a bid, or were you just?
No, that was a very bad layup.
Okay,
that's what that was.
Fair enough. I was giving you the chance to say you're running it.
Nope. It looks like Sam just couldn't get that same elevator lock that you got. It looked like the same putt.
It did. I'm surprised it only took us 2 holes to bring that putt up again, but you've got a similar putt for par just in the circle?
I think it was a 28-foot putt.
Good putt to see go in early in the round, though.
Yeah, I personally, I like having putts like that early in the round. Hit a tesser early, start to feel good about your putting early in the round.
It's kind of crazy how it can be the opposite if you miss, though. Yeah. But I do agree. Fish with a
That's a really good birdie.
Really good birdie. I don't think there were many of those on that hole.
I don't think so. And I think it's mainly because of the power it takes to get to the top of the hill, because that's really the only way you're birdieing it. You have to get to the top of that hill.
Yeah, you can't really understand on video how uphill that shot is, but even the difference between you and Fish, where you were about 40 feet shy of his, it made your shot way harder.
Right.
And now we're on to hole 4, par 4, 667. You've got a beautiful tunnel to hit off the gap, or off the bat, and then the hole takes a slight bend left, a little downhill, about 25 feet drop in elevation. You have OB left, and you have OB long. You can push on the tee shot and on the second shot a little on the right side. Very scenic hole. Probably one of my favorite holes on the property.
I think the biggest thing off the tee is just hit the gap, and then if you can filter down there, find a way from there.
Absolutely. That blue
perfect.
disc, that blue disc I'm throwing sidearm is a Raider, a Moonshine Raider, and it was perfect for this tee shot.
Perfect.
A little bit of hyzer,
if you can
up.
skip near that 200 mark.
Oh, you're doing great. You could almost say that it's just, if you don't birdie it, you're an idiot from there, right?
You could.
Okay, well, let's keep watching. What'd you throw here?
I'm throwing in a prototype Explorer with somebody's face on it.
Yeah, it looked like it had a cool stamp. I couldn't tell when you were throwing it.
I don't know. It has a stupid face on it.
Yeah, probably makes it fly really good for this shot because you piped it.
Oh.
And Sam showing how difficult this hole can be. That gap's probably only, would you say, 20 feet wide the whole way for the first
probably
300 feet?
And I don't even think it's the gap that's the hard part. It's that curved tree that makes the angle, makes the gap look tighter.
Pinches it for sure. And he caught a little early, and then his shot for par to save the par, his third, was incredible.
Yeah, that's great.
Got a little bit of an unlucky roll, sort of, but still putting. So fantastic. And how you can see from this angle, it was really cool to have people out spectating out here at Lake Marshall while we played. I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I know one of the things that Gary Hutt was very mindful of when him and Trey and Biscoe as well were developing the course, specifically the Lions, was, can they make a course that's very spectator friendly on top of being very challenging?
Yeah.
And I think they just did an immaculate job with this place.
Yes. Fish with a park job, and then
where's that going?
That is in the bush. From my angle, I could see the basket, which is awesome on this hole. I could see Trey, and I thought I was going to go a little low ceiling with Anheuser and kind of slide it up to him, and I threw it straight in the air with.
And that's another good putt from Sam.
Yeah, good save after 2 really not great shots, not what he was wanting. And I'm not going to lie, I thought I made that. I thought I made it from the bush. I can't really see the basket.
I'm surprised you even had a putt from there.
I didn't really.
Usually, if I'm over there, the only thing I have is a turbo.
Yeah, I couldn't see the basket. I was on a knee, kind of in a little hole, and had to kind of like putt a little turnover over the bush. But I guess that's what you get for throwing a bad upshot.
That's what happens.
Let's see, a couple of easy tap-in birdies for you and Fish. Honestly, hole 4 is one of my favorite holes on the property.
I love it.
I think I said that already, but love it.
I think hole 1 is for me.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I really like hole 1.
Both picturesque. Hole 5, we have a par 4, 628. This is playing uphill the entire way, just gradually, not a whole lot. You're going to want to try to hit this straight gap if you're a righty, and I think if you're a lefty or a four-hander, there's a left gap. You just want to hit one of the gaps, get into the fairway, and then hit your approach up to this green. It's a little guarded. More guarded, I feel like, than it looks. It plays more guarded. And Fish just does what you do not want to do. In years past, those woods were out of bounds.
Right.
And they took away the OB and just let it be kind of a natural OB, and natural OB it is. What are you throwing here?
I think that's another Raider.
Nice.
I think that's another, right? That's a Lucid Raider opposed to the Fusion one.
Yeah, I think most of us are throwing drivers just kind of the ceiling, and I decided to just grip lock that to nowhere. Pretty fortunate, I think, for it to end up where it did.
I know a lot of the lefties and forehand players like going that gap.
Yeah, I went left of the actual gap, but Sam is doing it like you're supposed to. That's amazing. You can see that stake. He's got 210 to the basket. And Fish is actually, he kicked so far into the woods, he's throwing over 18's fairway, which we'll get to later, and it actually comes all the way back to our fairway. It was incredible.
Yeah, that was an incredible shot. He
showed me where he threw from, and I still kind of don't believe it. I think some magic tree fairy caught it and threw it back over.
It's probably what, 45?
It's around 40, 35, 40. I was very happy I had a shot and was able to get a putt. This hole kind of gives me trouble. I feel like I always throw the approach poor.
Now, I saw that dirt kick up, and I thought I went in the road.
I remember us talking about this. You thought that was horrible, and I was like, nope. I was there trying to save par round 1. It's okay. You're putting for birdie, though, so. And Fish with a good approach. Left it a little shy, but he's got a look.
And that's a good shot as well.
Yeah, I think it's cool to see Sam's forehand come along, because I would say when I first started playing with him, he didn't really trust it that much to throw there. And I get me another circle 2 birdie. Very happy with it after a shank of a drive. It's rare that happens on this property. You get a birdie after a shank.
And that's a really good putt from Fish as well. That's kind of the benefit of going that gap that you go down, though.
Yeah.
The second you get past the initial where are you punching through, it's really open.
Yeah. You have gaps. You're not walled off like Fish was, and yet he saved par, which is insane. It's insane. No one has ever saved par from those woods, and he was like almost right of the woods. Crazy. Great birdie from Sam. Tap in. No stress. It's the way you want it. And finally, we were on hole 6. It's par 5, 900 feet. My absolute favorite hole in the world. Favorite hole in the world. Love it. You have a dead straight tunnel for probably 750, and then it slightly bends to the right and straightens back up. The right is just natural OB. It is thick rough. You don't want to be there. And To the left, there is an OB road past the trees, but you don't really see that coming into play too often. At least I haven't. I don't know, you ever thrown over OB?
No, you really have to find the OB that's over there. But
so you've got the box after the birdie. Let's see. I like this hole because the greedier you get, the more danger comes into play, and you went greedy and just piped it and played it.
So I like going driver off the tee here and just kind of being okay with I'm going a little left.
Yeah, I throw my EMAC Truth. I love to go mid-range. I threw it a little high, so it had a little finish to the right more than it usually does, but I'm happy with being on the fairway, just a little to the right.
I think Sam's going mid.
Perfect landing zone.
I think mid is a pretty common play you see from guys.
And that's a very committed, very good Comet shot, if I had to guess, from Fish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is as much hyzer as he started it on. And I'm a little pinched to the right. Love the design of this hole. After about 300, it starts to pinch. More closer to 400, it has like a pinch point. So when you're off the fairway, it makes it difficult. And if you try to go for too much, like I did, you can end up in a bad spot. But I got a great kick to the middle, so can't be upset with that. I wasn't really going for anything crazy, but I definitely wanted to make it up there kind of towards the bend.
Right.
Keep birdie in play.
It's the right angle, though.
Sam kind of had that same right side gap as me.
Just didn't quite turn it enough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to hit that gap from over there. Was that a Pro Doug sighting? On the back for Sam? I'm pretty sure. I think you missed it. Inside joke. Sorry, guys. Fish showing us how it's done with another comment, I believe. And that is just fantastic.
That's pretty much what you wanted out of that shot.
To be 200 feet from the basket in 2 throws here, I mean, you guys can see how tight it is.
That
is
is a Pro Doug sighting.
That was a Pro Doug. I knew it. That was a great shot by yourself.
Yeah, it's a little more left than I think you'd like, but... And this is a phenomenal move.
I was pretty stoked with that. I think I say this a lot. Sometimes it's all about having like the right disc for a shot. Sometimes you just don't have a disc broken in, or that flies like a shot that you need, and you can't force it. And that Blue Raider, you'll see it come out a lot out here and in the woods. It's perfect to be thrown, get a little drift, still has finish on it.
Sam's unfortunately showing what happens if you're just a little off on this fairway.
Yeah, it's a brutally tough hole. Feel like you left that approach a little short.
A little short. I think I was expecting a little more ground play, but
would you say it's 40 short of Fish's upshot?
I think it's 40 short of Fish's upshot.
Yeah,
that's a little upsetting.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there, but I had to.
Another inside joke.
Sam's showing how bad that right side rough is.
Although he got out of it.
He jump putted.
It's tough to get out of that tree thicket over there.
Yeah, it's like a bamboo forest, but it's not bamboo. He jump putted a mid-range, by the way. I asked him. It's a pro move right there. I don't know, some guys do it. I can't do it, but so I actually have a putt for birdie and drop it, and I'm very excited about that. That's usually you don't birdie the hole when you're throwing from over 350 feet away.
No. Tapping in a par.
And if I didn't birdie the hole, it would still be my favorite hole in the world. Love it. Love this property. Love Gary. Just we're super lucky to have this place. Yeah, and you never feel good about a bogey, but Sam can't be too upset about that because he was kind of all over the place on that hole.
Yeah, for me, this hole is about give myself a chance to get a 4, but if I don't, I'm fine with a 5.
Yeah.
The scariest hole
Yeah,
on the course.
Let's hear the righty perspective. How do you feel about this guy?
I mean, it's just petrifying. You're staring at a 382-foot hole that plays all of 280.
Yeah, 280, 290.
And if you go if you're throwing a backhand and you leak out left at all, it doesn't even matter if you hit left on that hillside, you're sliding out of bounds.
Yeah. Obviously, you see the lake, OB left. It's a 50-foot drop in elevation. It's not too bad to be a lefty on it.
I bet.
But definitely a scary hole to look at.
Or a good forehand player.
True.
I wonder what that's like.
And I kind of felt bad for you guys, so I just chucked it into the woods. I was throwing a harp, and I was trying to throw it with some turn out towards the lake, and I didn't. Kind of like Fish is showing us how to do, but I didn't do that. So great shot by him. He gets a crazy
And that just needed to
roll.
sit down.
Oh man.
You usually don't see them roll when they hit that high up the hill.
Yeah, that is an unlucky break.
It's so scary.
And you didn't look scared at all.
No, I didn't.
Brag on yourself. What is that?
That is a harp. That is a harp. Doesn't fly like any harp that anyone has. But that's a harp.
I want to say it's like 32 years old, the way that it flew. But it hasn't been out that long. And Sam liked your line so much, he was like, let me do you one better. But you're actually closer. It can't really be stated how hard this hole is for right-handed backhand players. And
Fish had to go to the drop zone.
Yes, any out of bounds on this hole, you go to that drop zone, which makes it even scarier. And I'm actually just trying to jump putt over this hill and just get a tap in par. The green is pretty scary. It's a little sloped. You don't really want to leak it out, make a mistake. So I'll take the par after the pour up shot.
Yeah, and I think this is the definition of a bonus hole as well.
Yeah, it's one that you want to get, but it always plays more difficult than it actually is. Anytime you have a par 3 under 400 feet, you're thinking birdie, but it's not the case on this hole.
You could tell me before the event, I'm going to take 2 3s on this hole, and I would have been perfectly happy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would take it, except for me, because I'm left-handed and I want to birdie it, but that's okay.
Well, you know.
So a couple birdies. I'm very happy with my par. I think we're talking to Sam about how lucky his shot was to stay in, but no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Hole 8, one of the signature holes. It's a par
another lefty hole. But
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, throw that out there. Par 4, 554. We are going to island hop. Not necessarily an island, but kind of peninsula hop. This first shot, you really need about 300 to the landing zone, 350 to the top of the hill, and then you're going to have another shot.
And we have birdie bids. Competitive pricing means more money for you on either end of the transaction. With lower fees than eBay or Etsy, you'll get your money at birdie bid.
Thank you, birdie bid.
I actually don't know how much of this hole is actually a lefty hole. I think the tee shot is.
Yeah, the tee shot is. It's actually kind of funny. I was told by Gary, the landowner, that this hole is called Biscoe's Revenge. I guess since he has a forehand, he just wants to make people chuck discs out in the water.
You're going to see a lot of righties, and maybe lefties as well, just throw it a little not committed enough and go off to the right. But I think that's the mistake you're going to make here.
It's just very common. It's hard to tell yourself to hang it out over the water and
or
end
get
up
to the top of the hill like
that. Yeah, end up in the perfect spot. It's just hard to make yourself do that and commit to that. So you see a lot of shots leak over to the right, and
that looked beautiful.
Yeah, when Andrew let go of that shot, I was like, oh no! I thought he chucked it out in the water, and that Comet flipped up super nice for him.
He has such good control with those Comets.
Yeah, and Sam was trying to lay up to the top. Still has a shot, but it looks like you're going to play the layup game as well.
Yep.
If you can't tell, laying up is tricky, and got a little roll. Did you stay in bounds?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you stayed in bounds. I don't see a graphic, but yeah, crazy little roll right there.
Yeah, the layup is only
It's
50
not much.
feet.
Yeah, 50 feet.
But where you're pitching is just kind of blind, and that's a great shot.
Andrew was throwing with a blind uphill over the hill, under the tree, into the green on turn the whole way. I get to
staying
throw
on
hyzer.
top of the hill, which is very difficult as well.
Yeah, and you see the perks of being a left-handed player because I got to throw a hyzer into that green. It is a tricky green. If you can lay up past that big tree kind of on the front of the peninsula, it's only playing like 200, but you're never throwing at it from there. So
that's a really good shot from Sam as well.
Yeah, another backhand righty shot with danger left and just controlling that spin and that angle perfectly.
That was so nose up.
Your body language was not good on that throw. You hated it, I'm pretty sure, out of your hands. And it shows you how scary this green is. You were sitting about 45, 50 feet for a par save, and you just laid up for the bogey.
Nice death putt there for Fish to cash in.
That's a nasty birdie. Righty backhand, righty backhand. I mean, my birdie looks easy.
That's because you're a lefty.
Right. But him doing it without a forehand, turnover, so sick.
So that's kind of what I was saying, though. I think the ideal spot for the righty going off the tee lines up really well for a backhand turnover.
Yeah, when you're not on top of the hill and you kind of have the slope in front of you. Look at us talking about something that doesn't even matter. I think I was telling you how lucky I got round one on my layup. That hit a root, bounced up, took off rolling, and then hit the base and stopped. But
nice little shout for Kobe.
Always.
Got to keep the legend alive.
Always. R.I.P. Hole 9. This is an uphill throw. This is a par 4, 560, so it's sub 600 feet, and yet the tee shot plays over 400 feet to this top flat that you're seeing right now. If you can do that with your tee shot, then you have a left to right finishing approach. The rough on the left is jail. You can see those holly bushes. They are no fun.
There's also OB if you push far enough, separating 18's fairway and
yes, it kind of separates the hole. I don't think there's OB past the basket, but
I think there is, but you have to be really special to find it.
Yeah, the initial design of this hole, I'm pretty sure, was about 30 to 40 feet shorter, and they pushed it back a little further to make this upshot harder.
I'm not surprised. Trey seems to Trey seems to put something down and say, this is a good hole, let's extend it 50 feet.
Yeah, I mean, if you can birdie it, he doesn't want that.
Nope.
Fish showing off the power again. He leaked a little left, probably more left than he wants. And one thing I should have brought up is going up this hill, there is just a jail of a slope to the left. And it's not uncommon for folks to kick over there and to have to re-tee.
Yeah, Sam's electing not to re-tee here.
But he was probably throwing up at least 50, 60 feet, and then...
I was actually a little surprised he didn't re-tee.
Yeah, I was too. And that shot was coming out of the rough and got stuck in the last tree, so this is him with his lie underneath, even though he's stuck about 20, 30 feet up. Lake Marshall, the Lions, is just showing its teeth when you get off fairway. And I was happy with this shot, but I knew that I didn't get it in the air, so it just hit the ground, skipped a little too early. But having a birdie putt is never a bad thing.
Just a little early from Sam.
And you showing off the forehand. What is
I've
this?
been working on it.
What is this right here? Is that Fusion Raider?
That's that first run.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, prototype. It's the Proto Raider. It's a little flatter, like it.
Yeah, they
like
pop
forehand
up.
nose.
Fly really good on sidearms. I like them. Fish having a little bit of a weird angle on the approach and just kind of hit the one tree on the right you got to beat. I kind of love how spaced out the trees are on that right side. Like, you don't want to be right, so when you're over there, like, you have an opportunity to scramble, but it's not easy.
Love how committed Sam is on every single one of his putts like that.
Yeah, he goes after them. And I thought I made it. Took a couple steps.
Never had a chance.
Never had a chance. It was low. Literally could have just laid up. And you get a tap-in birdie on a pretty difficult hole. That must feel good.
You know, I've said it before. I really feel like this is a miniature hole 3.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Really similar concept.
Second shot's a little shorter. So we're all tapping in. And we had one birdie, a couple pars. Sam had a rough one with a double, and we're coming in. And through 9 holes, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. You have a even more commanding lead. So, thank you to our sponsors. As always, thank you to Knowledge Management, Sponsy Disc Golf.
The Hutt family.
See you for the back 9.